So I've been thinking lately, I'd quite like to reduce my normalized. I've been feeling this way for the last couple of days now, and I've been holding back from reducing because I want to make sure I do it right. So in this video, I will be talking about my thought process, my deliberation about whether or not I should be dropping my normalized now. Hi, I'm Jem. I am trying to decide whether or not I should drop my normalized now. Perhaps you have the same question, perhaps you're wondering the same thing, perhaps we can try and nut this out together. So if you're going through this too, feel free to drop it down in the comments, how you're feeling, what you're thinking. And while you're down there, you might like to hit the like button just in anticipation of how great this video is going to be. So for the past few days, I have been thinking, maybe it's time to drop my normalized. But I've also been thinking, maybe it's not. So I have to try and decide whether it is time to reduce my normalized. There are a few things that I need to take into consideration before I want to jump in and do it, because I don't want to make the mistake of reducing too soon. I know that it's not actually going to be helpful if I reduce too quickly. I'll run the risk of blur adaptation. I will not be getting appropriate stimulus, so my eye won't be trying to clear up the blur, so it won't actually help me in the long run. And it will just introduce more blur in my life than I actually need as well. I just don't want to be trigger happy with reducing. Jake has warned against it so many times, and I know how tempting it is to make those reductions because it makes you feel like you're making progress. But actually reducing the diopters of your glasses doesn't mean you're making progress with your eyes. Anyone can reduce their diopters in their glasses to any number at any time, and it will mean nothing. It has to come first from your eyes being ready for it. In fellow EndMyopia student Matt Ely's recent video, he talks about diopter angst and how you need to shift your mindset from thinking how little minus can I function with to how much minus do I need to see clearly enough that I can press on towards 2020. So I definitely don't want to fall into that trap of reduce, I want to reduce. I want to make sure I do this right. So there are a few things I want to consider before I make the next normalized reduction. My first question for myself is, has it been 6 weeks since my previous reduction? And my previous reduction was a differentials reduction. Was that 6 weeks ago? So I popped by the office and got my book this morning, my EndMyopia measurement and log book. I was hoping that I would be able to find in my notes and measurements, which are hideously messy, I just scribble them. I was hoping that I would have written the date that I changed by normalized last. So here on the 10th of September, I changed to a new normalized, which was minus 2.25 and minus 2.75. But my current glasses are minus 2 and minus 2.25. So this is not them. So I've kept looking and got my new differentials then. Drop down to my N2s here. At this point I did start dropping to my N3s, which is my current one. Have put on my normalized 3s. Minus 2 and minus 2.5 diopter glasses. They feel great. But I did write here that the normalized 2s for another 8 weeks would be a good idea. That was the end of January. So another 8 weeks would be the end of March, which was only 3 weeks ago. And I've definitely been wearing these for a while now, not just since lockdown. So I didn't wait the full 8 weeks. So when was it? So I haven't actually written it because that is today. I just wrote this today. I'm going to guess that I wore them, say, for another 3 weeks, so mid-February. And now is mid to late April. So that's just over 2 months. I made a video about ordering differentials, which was posted on the 11th of February, and I think I did that because I changed my normalized and I started to equalize, and then I realized that there was a quarter of a diopter difference for my normalized but half a diopter difference still for my differentials. And I've actually since then found videos and blog posts from Jake about that topic, which I haven't read, but I found that they exist, so I probably should have found them first. But anyway, I didn't. So I think that spurred me on to buy differentials with the quarter diopter difference. So say I changed my normalized around the 9th of February and then ordered my differentials. So if you're not logging, start logging. So early March, let's say the 9th of March, 4 weeks later. And now we've definitely passed the 9th of April. Where are we? The 21st of April. So I would be following the 4-week minimum time frame for changing focal planes. So it's probably okay. I'm so overthinking this. I so want to get it right. Another thing I want to consider is my centimeter measurements. So I want to have a look at what my centimeter measurements for each of my eyes actually are and what that is equivalent to in diopters. And I want to make sure that the diopters that my eyes actually are seeing at and the diopters of my new normalized are an appropriate gap, not too much. I measured today, this morning, my right eye at 47 centimeters, which is just in the -2 diopter range, which is what I'm currently wearing on my face. So my eyes have caught up with the glasses. Well, my right eye has caught up with my current glasses. So that's so exciting. My left eye measured at 40 centimeters today, which is pretty darn high for my left eye. While my right eye goes up and down with ciliary spasm and things, my left eye has just been chilling at 39 centimeters no matter what. So to get 40 out of it this morning was very exciting. That is around the middle of -2.5 diopters. And I worked that out with this ruler, which you can get from the EndMyopia website. I think it comes with one of the courses now that you buy rather than being free, but it's all very reasonably priced for what you're getting. So at 40 centimeters, that's up here. See how that's like right in the middle of -2.5? So that is good. And I'm on 47. So there's 47 right here on that crease. So just over in the -2 diopter range. So if I'm changing my glasses, it means I'll be asking it to see over here, just there is where -1.75 starts. You can see it a bit better on the paper than on the screen. So that's at 53.5. So that would be the difference. Over on my left eye though, I will be seeing at 40 and asking it to see all the way over here at 47. So it's a bit of a big stretch, but then again, when I first got my normalized, they were a quarter of a diopter below what I was actually seeing, and it wasn't giving me enough of a challenge, and it wasn't until I dropped down to half a diopter below my full prescription that I actually started getting a blur challenge that was effective for my lifestyle. So maybe asking it to go half a diopter less than it's actually seeing will be absolutely fine. Jake does emphasize that you should wait for your non-dominant eye to catch up before making reductions. You don't want your dominant eye to be getting just the right amount of stimulus all the time and your non-dominant eye to be living in blur, because then it could get a bit left behind. Another check I'm gonna make is my Snellen chart. I'm gonna make sure that I'm happy with the line that each of my eyes can read independently. So together in natural light, I can read the 20/20 line. Not with absolute clarity, but I can read it. I know what it says. They're two different statements. I do know what it says. It says Def Patek. But what I actually meant was I can read it. So when I check with just my right eye, I can still read it fine. When I check with my left eye, I don't know that I can actually. I don't know that I can read the 20/20 line with my left eye. But I can definitely read the 20/30 line with my left eye, and maybe that's good enough. 20/30 line, little blurry, but I can read it fine. E, D, F, C, Z, P, no problems, no guessing, fine. 2025, FELOPZD, not a trouble. Again, blurry, but that's okay. 2020. Now, I know exactly what it says, so I have to be careful to actually read it. Oh, my eyesight's going weird. It's working too hard. It's coming in and out of focus a lot. Okay, there it is. In focus, you got it. DEFPOTEC. Yep. Yeah, I can read that. I wish it would just like magically shift, but different letters. That would be so great. But no, I can read that. Alright, so now I want to just check that both my eyes can do that independently and see how they're both tracking. I'm just going to touch this eye so I'm like not having to like squint it closed. I'm just going to rest my finger on it so I can just relax and it'll stay closed. So actually I can read without any clarity, no clarity involved. I can get some of the 2015 line with my right eye. Alright, let's try my left eye and see how we're going. Left eye is pretty good at 2030, can make do at 2025, not very reliable for 2020. But my right eye, perfectly good for 2030, 2025, and pretty good at 2020. Again, it all has blur, but you know, like, even the E, the biggest letter on that chart, has blur for me, but the blur is like, not a problem because the letter is so big. So clarity is not really something I can aim for right now. I mean, you'd think with normalized I should be able to get clarity. I don't know. This is the thing. It's not clear, but is there enough of a blur challenge for me to continue improving when I'm not standing here staring at my Snellen, just in day-to-day life? I don't think so. If I could see 2030 with my normalized, that would be fine. So what I'm going to do just now I'm not changing to a new normalized yet. I just want to put on the next set of normalized and see where it's at the moment for me. Here we go. So here's my basket of glasses. Alright, so they're all in the cases, all the little fabric slips. So which one is my next set of normalized? I'll have to open them to find out. Ah, here they are. Can you see that? N4, can you read that there? Just there? That's how I know that this is the correct pair of normalized. That's the one I'm looking for, because my current pair, the one on my face, is my N3s. So these are my N4s. Let's see how we go. Alright. 2040 line. Yeah, it's kind of blurry. PECFD. PECFD. Oh, that's all the letters in the line. There's not so many letters in the line. 2030. EDFCZP. Okay, so some of those are kind of tricky, but I think I've got them all correct. 2025. That is a proper challenge. And then the 2020 line is just a blur. Nothing more than a blur. No chance, no point even trying. So, yeah, I can still get the 2030 line at this distance. Oh, looking at that 2030 line, I can feel my eyes working and it's coming clearer already. Like, they are working. Okay, I'm pretty excited for when the moment comes for me to start wearing these properly. I don't want to like leap forward with too much unbridled enthusiasm. I want to be rational here. Science. So if I'm happy with all these things, with the timing, with the centimeter measurements, and with the Snellen chart, the only other thing for me left to consider, which is probably the most important thing to consider, being honest, is my day-to-day blur challenge. What kind of blur horizon am I getting in my normal day-to-day life? Is there enough of a blur challenge that I can actually use active focus throughout my days? I've just recently done my ciliary spasm release challenge. Ha! I said it right first time. Yes. And I noticed that when I first look into the distance after doing some close-up work, it can take a little while for things to clear up. So when I say a little while, that might be a minute, maybe 2 minutes, maybe 10 seconds. But you know, like it's not bags and bags of time anymore. But when I first look out, yes, there's a bit of blur. Once I've been looking for a little while and I feel my ciliary release, it's actually pretty darn clear. There's actually not a lot of blur left. So that makes me think maybe it's okay. Maybe it's time to introduce a bit more blur challenge. I'm pretty excited. But that's just it. That's why I'm doubting myself, because I shouldn't be excited about the numbers of the glasses. Like if the glasses changing doesn't mean my eyes are changing. I don't want to get like diopter happy. I don't want my emotions to lead me astray. I mean, the excitement is really important to harness to motivate you to do the good habits, but it shouldn't be something that makes you like race off and not do this properly. So I'm just being cautious. I'm being cautious. I don't want to be unsensible. I'm wild. I'm so much fun. I wouldn't want to not be sensible. I feel like I'd be able to see my Snellen chart, see the word on my computer screen that I'm measuring from for my centimeters, and even outside I feel like I could see it just a little bit better if my eyes had a film layer over them more than they do. Like I feel like my eyes are particularly dry right now, which they probably are, because I'm in Australia, which means that we've just left summer behind. It's kind of coming into that time of year where I might not be going outside as much. Well, to be honest, I'm not going outside as much anyway, but I might find it even harder to go for like a daily walk if it's just miserable and cold and awful out there. The other thing that this like leaving the summer behind means is that I have the heating on a bit more. Like I live in a pretty cold little flat anyway. All year round it's nice and cool in here, but in winter it's really cold. So even though it's just really the very beginning of autumn, my heating's on. And that I think is drying out my eyes. So I might need to look into turning off the heating and covering myself with blankets this week. So having done all my measurements and paid attention to my blur horizon, I'm thinking it is probably about time for me to drop to my next pair of Normalized. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give it one more week just to be sure. Just hold off, don't race ahead, be calm, be sensible, and I'm gonna spend this week trying to rehydrate my eyes. I've been making sure that I have 1 liter of water a day minimum since I started my ciliary spasm release challenge the other week. So I've been getting the inner hydration. So this week I'm gonna start trying not to have the heater on so much and live in the blankets, just to give my eyes that extra opportunity for hydration, keep up my good habits. And this time next week, I'm gonna make the drop and I will document it for you and see how it goes and see if it actually is a good time for me to make this drop. Oh, I'm overthinking this big time. I mean, I can just do it. I can make the drop, and if I regret it, I can just go back up. Like, I don't want to monkey around with lenses, as Jake says, but there is some flexibility here to experiment a little bit. So as usual, if you like this video, could you like this video? It really helps me out, and consider subscribing if you would like more content from me. I post every week, and so I will see you next Thursday. Bye. Hi, I'm Jem. Nice to see you back. I can't see you and you might not be back. I feel like my eyes are particularly dry right now. Particularly since starting my ciliary release spasm challenge. Oh, I got it wrong. Anyway, there you go. That's my information. Snuggle. Snuggle blankets. Blankets. So I dropped to my second pair. Okay, where was I? I mean, anyone can. It's about how much. Correct. I need more of that.
First point, have to take your email or Facebook off of it. Be happy I did. I don't miss them. I go to a computer if I want to see them.
Very far away. Come over here. Come over here, my friend. Join me. Join me. Join me nice and close up while I check my Snellen. P. It's a P. I never said E. What? I'm Jem, and this is a video. Yes, it is. It is a video. Yes, this is what this mysterious thing is called. Okay. Okay.